It's late. The kind of late where the world feels empty, where even the streetlights seem tired. You're driving down a stretch of highway you've never seen before, somewhere between one small town and another. The radio cuts out every few seconds, your phone's got no signal, and all you can hear is the hum of your tires eating up the asphalt. You start realizing it's been miles since you've seen another pair of headlights, or a single building, or even a road sign. Just blackness swallowing everything beyond your high beams. That's when it hits you, that feeling. The one that starts in your chest and crawls up the back of your neck. You don't know why you feel it, but something's wrong. Maybe it's the way the fog rolls across the road, thick and deliberate, like it's waiting for you. Maybe it's the figure you think you see standing just beyond the shoulder, but when you blink, it's gone. Maybe it's the fact that every instinct in your body is screaming to turn around, but you can't. There's nowhere else to go. You keep driving, trying to shake the feeling, but it's not going away. Every few seconds you glance into your mirrors, half expecting to see someone sitting in the back seat. And when you look forward again, your headlights catch something on the side of the road. A car, abandoned. The driver's door wide open. No lights, no movement, no sound, just a single vehicle sitting in the middle of nowhere. You slow down, thinking maybe someone needs help. But then you notice the details. The windshield's shattered from the inside. There are drag marks leading away from the car, disappearing into the tree line. Your gut twists. You tell yourself to keep going. You hit the gas a little harder, eyes locked on the yellow lines ahead. But that's when the static returns. The radio flickers to life for just a second, enough to make out a voice. Not a song, a voice. Low, distorted, and whispering your name. You rip the volume knob off the radio, pulse pounding in your ears, and suddenly realize you're not alone out here. You never were. The road isn't empty, it just doesn't want you to see what's sharing it with you. And somewhere in that darkness, something's watching, following, waiting for you to make the wrong turn. Every night, people vanish along highways like this one. Some cars are found days later, engines still running, doors open, no trace of the driver. Others are never found at all. The police reports always sound the same: lost control, ran off the road, accident. But the locals, the ones who've driven these roads their whole lives, they'll tell you something different. They'll tell you these highways remember. They'll tell you that once the sun goes down, you don't drive them alone, because if you do, something might decide to keep you company. Forever. There's something about the open road that feels different when the sun goes down. During the day, highways are busy veins of motion. People rushing somewhere, passing each other, living their own stories. But at night, the road changes. It becomes quieter, emptier, lonelier. The air feels heavier, and the silence between the hum of your tires starts to sound like it's carrying something else. Something that doesn't belong there. You start noticing things you never would have paid attention to before. The faint shape of an animal just at the edge of your headlights. The way the shadows of the trees seem to move even when there's no wind. And then there's the feeling, that subtle, almost electric tension that crawls over your skin as if someone or something is watching you pass by. When you drive for long enough in the dark, the world begins to blur. Time stretches. A minute feels like 10. The road feels endless. And sometimes it really is. You start to question how far you've come, how far you have left to go, and whether you've even been moving at all. The lines on the asphalt seem to pull you forward like a hypnotic pattern, and before long, you're trapped in it. That's the thing about highways at night. They're not just roads, they're thresholds. Once you cross a certain point, you leave the familiar world behind and step into a place that doesn't play by the same rules. Some people say it's the isolation that gets to you. Others say it's exhaustion, hallucination, the tricks of the mind. But then there are those stories, the ones that don't fit those explanations. The stories of people who swear they saw something they can't describe. Faces on the roadside that disappeared when they turned around. Figures standing in the middle of the lane, forcing drivers to swerve, only for nothing to be there when they looked back. And the most unsettling ones, the people who vanish entirely, they say most of it can be explained, that it's just coincidence. But if you've ever driven a desolate highway long enough, you know there's something else out there. You can feel it. It doesn't always show itself, but it's always there, just beyond the reach of your headlights, watching from the dark. Sometimes it follows. Sometimes it waits. Every now and then, someone captures a glimpse, a dashcam video, a grainy still, a broken sentence left on a 911 call before the line cuts out. And no matter how many times authorities write it off as a malfunction, a misperception, or a hoax, the truth is simple. Too many stories sound the same. Too many people disappear on roads that should have taken them home. And once you've heard those stories, once you've felt that same quiet dread out there in the dark, you start to realize maybe the road isn't empty after all. It always starts the same way. A calm drive, an empty road, and the faint hum of the engine filling the silence. There's no warning, no sign that what's about to happen will change everything. That's the unsettling part, the stillness before it begins. You never think twice about the highway when you're on it. It's just a way to get somewhere else. But every story starts with that same false sense of safety. Then comes the first shift. A strange sound, a flicker in the lights, the faint outline of something you can't quite make out on the side of the road. At first it's nothing, or at least that's what you tell yourself. But deep down, something changes. The atmosphere thickens. Your heartbeat starts syncing with the rhythm of the road. And that's where every story takes its turn. The point where the ordinary slips into something else. The first story might seem almost believable. Someone driving late at night spotting a stranded car thinking they're helping, until they realize no one was ever there. Maybe they pull over and find the car empty, keys still in the ignition, headlights still glowing. Maybe they see footprints leading into the woods and decide to follow them. And maybe that's the last decision they ever make. The second story always feels worse. A couple traveling through a desolate stretch of highway, arguing over directions until something darts across the road. Too fast, too tall to be human. They stop. They shouldn't have. The moment they step out, the sound of footsteps circles their car. By the time they get back inside, they realize their backseat door is open. The third story isn't about what's seen, it's about what's heard. A truck driver, miles from any town, gets a radio transmission. Static at first, then faint voices. They're saying his name, they're describing the inside of his cab. He checks his mirrors, nothing. But every time he changes frequency, the voice comes back stronger, clearer. When he finally reports it, no one believes him. But the next night, another driver on the same route goes missing. And then there's the last story. The one that always stays with you. It ties everything together. It's the kind of story that doesn't need proof because it feels true in a way you can't explain. Maybe it's about a stretch of highway that locals refuse to drive after dark. Maybe it's about the sound of tapping on a window when there's no one around. Or maybe it's about the people who never make it home, whose cars are found running, headlights still cutting through the night, doors open like they were about to step back in. Every story builds on the one before it. Starting small, creeping closer, until by the end, you're left with that same question every driver has felt at least once. What if something out there is watching you, waiting for you to slow down, to stop, to make that one mistake that lets it in? There's a way words sound when the night is quiet. They feel heavier, slower, like the air around them is listening too. That's the kind of silence these stories live in. The kind that presses against you until you can hear your own heartbeat. Until even your breathing sounds too loud. When people tell what happened to them out there, they don't sound hysterical. They sound calm, too calm, like they've already accepted that no one will believe them anyway. The way they speak sticks with you, short sentences. Me violent revelation, just silence, the kind that lingers long after you've made it home. You park your car, lock the doors, and tell yourself you're safe, but deep down you don't believe it. Because some part of you can still feel the weight of those empty miles, the chill of the air pressing against the glass, the faint echo of footsteps you swore you heard but couldn't prove. You close your eyes and try to forget, but the sound of the highway hums in your memory like a heartbeat. The truth is, most of these stories never really end. They just fade, unfinished, unanswered. The cars are found, the engine's still warm, but the drivers are gone. The police write their reports, the families light their candles, and the road keeps swallowing what it wants, one soul at a time. You can put up new signs, build brighter lights, even pave over the cracks, but it doesn't change what lies underneath. The road remembers. Maybe that's why when you drive late at night, you sometimes get that feeling, the one you can't explain, the sense that you're not the only one moving through the dark. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe it's the sound of someone else a few feet behind you trying to find their way back. Maybe they never left that stretch of road. Maybe they're still out there, walking the shoulder, waiting for the next pair of headlights to appear. People always say it won't happen to them, that they're careful, that they don't believe in ghosts. But everyone believes in something when they're alone on an empty highway at 3 a.m. And if you ever find yourself on one of those roads, where the fog sits low and the distance between towns stretches just a little too far, remember this: there's a reason these stories sound the same, a reason they never stop. So next time you're driving and the night feels a little too quiet, don't ignore it. If your gut tells you to keep going, listen. If you hear something whisper your name, don't answer. And if you see someone standing by the road with their thumb out, whatever you do, don't stop. Because sometimes, the scariest part of the story isn't what's behind you. It's what's still waiting ahead.